Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Ahdurin Region. I'm your host, Ahdurin himself, and welcome back to something interesting. Hello. You might notice that there's no gameplay going on or anything like that. Fun fact today is my birthday. That's right. I have turned a year older than I was previously, and as usual, I am terrified about that fact. But I wanted to do something I've actually done before, but not on this channel, obviously, since this is a brand new channel. Last year on the main channel, the other channel, the Ahdurin Region channel, as opposed to the Ahdurin channel, which you're watching right now, I attempted to do a single large episode sort of thing where I picked my favorite Pokemon of every type, of every generation, so on and so forth. This is available in the description if you want to try this out yourself. This was a big thing a few years ago. A lot of people tried this, and I tried to do it last year. Here's the thing. I made that video, and for whatever reason, it was just messed up. I couldn't get it working properly. The audio wasn't existing, or it wasn't synced, or it wasn't working. The video kind of got scrapped. I just turned it into a community post on the main channel, which is probably still there, and it kind of went kaput. However, it's a new year, it's a new birthday, and it's potentially a new me because I have played some different games. You know, I played Pokemon X, I played Gates to Infinity and Super Mystery Dungeon and Legends Arceus and all these other games. Arceus, there you go. So I maybe things have changed, maybe things are staying the same. Who knows? This is going to be a casual thing, though. I'll try my best to say all of this out loud, so that you don't even need to be watching the video. If you want to just put it on and go do laundry or something, that's fine with me. This is going to be a casual thing, and between you and me, this is absolutely not, he says sarcastically, not a way for me to buy time for the next video. Cough, cough, wink, wink, etc. Now, I'm going to go through this step by step. We're going to go in order. So starting with the first generation, going to the last generation, we'll find our favorites of the favorites. We'll do all the bonus stuff. Who knows how long this video is going to be, because I tend to ramble, but we'll go through it. My only rule of thumb that I'm going to be sticking to here is that if I pick a Pokemon for one section, I can't pick it for another. So hypothetically, if my favorite Pokemon was Charizard, I cannot pick Charizard for fire and flying. I'll pick it for fire or flying. If that makes any sense. That is about it. And so as a result of that, let's jump into this. If you guys, here's my community post question of the day sort of thingy thing. You don't have to leave your entire chart. That's going to be a lot. Go ahead and toss below your top 6. Make a team of solely your favorite Pokemon, no rules or regulations or anything like that, just your 6 favorite Pokemon. It doesn't even have to make a good team, just whatever you think is best. Throw that in the comment section down below. I'd love to hear what this community's favorite team looks like. Maybe we'll have a bunch of people choose water-type Pokemon, or nobody chooses flying types for whatever reason. It'd be interesting to look at. Without further ado, let's begin. Let's start, and I'm just going to talk. We're just going to, you'll learn a little bit about me, maybe some background of why I like certain things, and ideally this video works properly. If this doesn't work properly, then who knows what the upload is going to be on the 23rd. Ready? Let's begin. Generation 1, normal types. On the screen, you can see a couple of options. I'm not going to read all of them out, obviously. We don't need to read all 1,000+ options here. Actually, I said we would go in order. I'm already changing my mind. I might just skip around the generation as a whole. That might be a little bit easier because there's some Pokemon that I know are going to fit, and I might just look around and see where they fit better. So, if I look here, let's go to the Fairy type, because I think we'll start off with the obvious. What is my favorite Fairy type Pokemon? It is my favorite Pokemon. I know what's winning all of this. This is not going to be a surprise to me. It is Wigglytuff. I adore this bouncy bundle of joy. And you may know this. You may not know this. You might be learning about this. Wigglytuff is my favorite Pokemon because of my introduction to the Pokemon franchise through the Mystery Dungeon games, where Wigglytuff plays a decent role in the first generation of Mystery Dungeon games, and an especially big role in the second generation of Mystery Dungeon games. So that kind of really brought my love for Wigglytuff. Also, it's a bunny. It's kind of just, squishy. Random shout out to Mr. Big on Word Girl, if you were a PBS Kids watcher back in the day, but he had a pink squishy bunny, and this is a pink squishy bunny big version. So Wigglytuff is here. I'm also going to choose specifically the mon that I think fits best for me, so that may not necessarily be the highest level, if that makes any sense, the highest form. It could be a younger form or baby form, who knows. Maybe I will, maybe I won't, maybe I'll stick to the, I don't know, I'm making this up as you go, because you can see. You know what I'm going to do? It's going to represent the line, but maybe not. Well, you'll figure it out. I don't know. We're going through all this. All right. So favorite Fairy type is there. As a result of that, my favorite normal type is not going to be Wigglytuff because we've used it already. So of the folks here, I also have not looked at my old list. So I'm just going to go off of the vibes of what I feel like I would choose and go from there. Maybe things have changed. Maybe things are staying the same. Who knows? My favorite normal type, I think I'm going to go with Eevee. Look at the Eevee. It's an Eevee. I mean, that's pretty standard. A lot of people are probably going to have Eevee as Eevee or an evolution somewhere along their lines there. Where should we go next? Let's try fire, unless something pops up in my head for something else there. My favorite fire type Pokemon, I am going to go with... The fun thing about this is that I will cut the silences down, so that might make it easier for you guys that are listening in the background. I might go with, let's see. You know what, underrated? Let's go Ninetales. Ninetales is going to go on that list here, partly because of my use of Ninetales in the very first challenge, the 151 challenge that we did on this channel here. It's a cool Pokemon. It's got mystery dungeon. A lot of these are going to have mystery dungeon lore behind them, I feel like, and Ninetales absolutely does. So let's go Ninetales. Sure. Favorite water type, I'm going to hold off on that for a second because I'm going to try to go with the lower ones here. Favorite electric type, I think I'm going to go Jolteon. When I was younger, Jolteon was my favorite evolution. As I have gotten older, it is hard to pick a favorite, but I think I'll go Jolteon here. If you want, you can check out the posts that I made last year and see if anything has changed or anything has stayed the same. Some of them are probably going to be borderline things where I'm like jumping back and forth between them. I'm going to go Lapras for my favorite ice type. I think Lapras is very cool. Mystery Dungeon, especially just second generation Mystery Dungeon, but also it's a ride Pokemon and a very early ride Pokemon. I remember Ash's Lapras from the anime. That's a fun one. Let's see. Favorite fighting type Pokemon. This probably has changed. Man, Primeape in the 151 challenge was so good. I did not understand how cool Primeape was until that challenge. So I'm gonna put you there. I'm gonna shout you out here. I think normally I would have chosen probably somebody from the Machop line or Hitmonchan. Between Lee and Chan, I prefer Hitmonchan because I like the elemental punches that it introduced. So let's go with that. See if I can find one that might be easy for me. Yeah, for psychic types, I'm going to go Alakazam, Mystery Dungeon, cool psychic type Pokemon, generally considered extremely good. And so that's pretty clear there. Favorite bug type, I'm going to go Butterfree. I think I remember using Butterfree in one of my early, it might be one of the first Kanto playthroughs. I don't know if it was the first. I have a list of what my teams were for what will eventually be later episodes of the Recreating First playthrough series. I think Butterfree may or may not be on that list. I'm not 100% sure. We'll go Ghost type. I'm just going to go Gengar. It's the one line, but on top of that, I think I like Gengar the best. It's just cool. It's got a wide variety of niche uses, and its gimmick is really good as well with the Mega Evolution and the Gigantamax form. That was a very fun one. Let's see. Dragon, I'm going to go Dragonite. That's pretty clear. It's the dragon. Also, look at the dude. And then now there's a Mega Dragonite, which is wild. That's exciting there. Dark type doesn't exist. Of these, ooh, I don't even remember which one I chose last time. Let's go the Kabutops Bone. Why not? Steel type, let's go Let's go Magneton. Why not? These are pretty straightforward here. Let's see what else we got here. For rock type, you know what I'll shout out? I'll shout out here Graveler, not Golem, Graveler, because Graveler was on my first ever team of Pokemon Diamond, because I did not trade for a Golem. I stuck with the Graveler, and man, I got a soft spot for this middle stage evolution. So Graveler will go for the rock type. Alright, so I'm going to do this way. For the ground type, let's go Nidoking. I think between the two Nidos, I like Nidoking more. I'm not even sure why. I think I just had a Nidoran Nidoran male before Nidoran female, and so as a result, Nidoking is the one there. And because of that, I'm going to make the... let me just make sure I've got this right in the order here. I would like to have Bulbasaur as my grass, and as my poison type, I would like to have. I'm really debating this. Shout out to Victory Bell. Recently announced new details about Victory Bell. That's very exciting. If you know, you know. Um, let's go with. Ooh, I don't even remember what I chose last time. Let's go. Let's shout out Vileplume. Why not? Vileplume, Gloom, Vileplume. This whole line is pretty cool. I enjoy it. Bulbasaur is my grass type because I think that's probably my favorite of this set. Yeah. Bulbasaur in particular, nothing against Venusaur and everything like that. That fantastic line. But Bulbasaur was the first ever Pokemon. This was my true starter Pokemon. It was Bulbasaur in the Mystery Dungeon Blue Rescue Team game. My first ever Pokemon. When I did the test, got Bulbasaur. And so I feel like that is the right choice there. Let's see here. When it comes to water types, there are a lot of them. I'm trying to make sure I'm right here. I am going to go with... Let's go the Blastoise line. So, and this will answer the question here. When it comes to the starter, I go with Blastoise as my starter in the Kanto games. And so that is my favorite water type Pokemon. It's just cool. It's a turtle with cannons for shells. I mean, you know, we all know why the Kanto starters are considered very good. Unsurprising there. For the flying types, I think I'm going to go Pidgeot. When it comes to the birds in the Kanto games, I always end up choosing Pidgeot. So let's go Pidgeot. And that is that there. There is your row for Kanto. We'll go in order here for those of you that are listening and not watching. Eevee, Ninetales, Blastoise, Bulbasaur, I should probably go in a proper order. For the normal type, it's Eevee. Fire, it's Ninetales. Water is Blastoise. Grass is Bulbasaur. Electric is Jolteon. Ice is Lapras. Fighting is Primeape. Poison is Vileplume. Ground, Nidoking. Flying, Pidgeot. Psychic, Alakazam. Bug, Butterfree. Rock, Graveler. Ghost, Gengar. Dragon, Dragonite. For Dark, since there isn't one, we chose the Kabutops fossil, because why not? Steel, Magneton, Fairy, Wigglytuff, and the starter is Blastoise. My favorite gimmick form of these, I think, let's go Big Mouth Gengar. Why not? That's a fun one. And favorite legendary of the set, let's go with Mew. Why not? Favorite Pokemon of the bunch is Wigglytuff, obviously. I know who's winning this entire competition. That is Kanto. Let us go over to Johto, where I can hopefully find something that'll be easy to work with here. Let's go favorite fighting type. Let's put in... Let me make sure there isn't a bug type here, because I think I'm going to go Heracross. That is probably it. Yeah, let's go Heracross as our favorite fighting type Pokemon. Bug fighting is such a cool combination. Ash's Heracross in the anime was such a fun Pokemon to work with. That was a cool just Pokemon in general, and the fact that it's one of the headbutt Pokemon I can think of. That's a fun option there. With Heracross used, that means I'm probably going to take... Let's go Scizor. Scyther's concept is very cool. The fact that when it evolves, it doesn't change its stats, it just changes its typing. So it's 3 different versions of Scyther. I really like that. I know that's probably not good competitively, in that, you know, there's no boost with the evolution. You're just stuck with what you got there. But I think it's an interesting combination there. Favorite ghost is Mischievous. Why not? It's the only ghost type option available. Favorite dragon is Kingdra. Again, why not? There's not many options there. Favorite steel type is Skarmory. I think I'm going to go with you there. Yeah, we'll go with Skarmory for the steel types. One of my favorite Pokemon of all time. Shout out to Super Skarmory for bringing me into the business, I suppose. So I think Skarmory's a cool Pokemon. I really like that. Fairy types. So you may know this about me. I'm a big fan of baby Pokemon, and so I really like the baby Pokemon options here. And I think even though it is technically 2 things in the same line, we gotta go with Igglybuff. Or do we? I guess we don't have to. I really like Igglybuff. I think it's great. For the sake of this, maybe we'll change it up. We'll go Togepi. Why not? Shout out Togepi. That's a fun fella. Let's see if we can find anything in these earlier sections here. For favorite water type, I am going to go with Quagsire. I think it's great. I know a lot of people are big Wooper fans. I think Quagsire gets hated too much because it's not Wooper. Shout out to Quagsire. Let's go Meganium for the grass type. Uh, the fact that I feel like Meganium would work really well, except it's in Johto. The one game where I feel like grass types are routinely screwed over in the first 4 gyms or so. Meganium has a rough time there, but I feel like if it's a starter in basically any other region, it's going to put up at least a decent fight. Let's go Ampharos for the electric types. A little bit of mystery, actually a lot of bit of mystery dungeon flair here, and then on top of that, very cool mega. The lore is cool. The my lore to it is cool. For fire type, I am going to go with Houndoom. I think that's cool. I remember Houndoom being on my first platinum team. Is that right? I think that's right. Maybe. I remember Houndoom being on the team very early on, and I really enjoyed using it. And so, speaking of Houndoom, using that off the table, let's put Umbreon here. I think that's probably the best bet here. Shocker, Umbreon fan. It is a very good Pokemon. For Psychic, it's fun that they have all of the evolution, not evolutions, are all the unknowns here. I'm thinking about evolutions because I think I might go Espeon as my favorite Psychic type here. Shocker again. I like evolutions. They're pretty cool. For Flying type, do I go for Flying or for Poison? You know what? Here's what I'll do. I'll put for Flying, I'll go Crobat. I really like Crobat. I don't use it too often, but it is such a cool Pokemon. And then the fact that like the random tidbits about Crobat, like the fact that it needs a friendship evolution and Cyrus seems to have one for some reason, is very fun. For Poison type, since I've used Crobat, I'm gonna go Quillfish. Quillfish, I'm pretty sure was not on this list last year. If you had to ask me to name Pokemon, Quillfish would not exist on it. But Quillfish, after using it in Legends Arceus, yes, that is the Hisuian Quillfish version, but still, newfound appreciation. That is what I think the gimmicks are for, or the either the Mega Evolutions or the special forms or the convergent species or anything like that. They're designed to make Pokemon that are lesser known more visible, and I think Hisuian Quillfish did a great job of that for Quillfish. So, absolutely there. For Ice types, let's go Swinub. Sure, let's go Swinub. Yeah, I like that line as a whole. And Swinub is a fun one there. For the ground types, let's go with Phanpy. I like that. It's not a baby Pokemon, but it might as well be. Look at the dude. Elephants are some of my favorite Pokemon, so anytime you see one, that's probably going to appear there. For rock types, let's go with Sudowoodo. I like Sudowoodo. I think it's fun. Its gimmick is very cool, and I think it's the way that you get it in Johto is very exciting as well. It's the Snorlax of the region. And I think I may have used one on my first or second playthrough of Johto, so that's another shout out to Swinub there, and not Swinub, sorry, Sudowoodo. For normal types here, I might go. Let's go Smeargle here. Smeargle as a concept is very cool. It's got a mystery dungeon flair to it. I think that's a solid choice. Let's go Smeargle there. My starter choice here is typically the water line, so I will go with Feraligatr. And then the gimmick form of these, they're all pretty cool. I think I'm gonna go Mega Ampharos here. My favorite legend of the group is probably Celebi. And my favorite of all of these guys. Ooh, this is intriguing. Who would I go with as my favorite? Usually I end up finding something out about my interest here. I'm gonna go with it's Skarmory, yeah. We're going Skarmory here. I think the specific choices I make here won't change too much, but the favorite definitely will. Alright, let's get into the thick of the big time things, because Generation 3 I played through quite a bit. Which I don't know if that's going to make things easier or harder for me. I'm trying to do the mental math here, because I have a few, I know what a few of these are going to be, and now it's just a matter of figuring out where they fit in. Okay, I'm going to go, I realize I haven't chosen any legends for most of these. I think I'm going to go, let's see, if we go there, Then we can go Shadow Lugia as an option here. That's fun. Let's go. Okay, then that would change that one here. And shout out to Purple Kecleon. I think I'm gonna do that. So I'm gonna go. I'll explain it afterwards. We're gonna do that, which will put you here. You go there. You go there. You go there. Yes. So let's explain this. Let's start off with the start of the line here. My favorite water type Pokemon is Swampert. In fact, for the longest time, Swampert was my favorite Pokemon. Before Wigglytuff overkept it after slowly being in the background of all the Mystery Dungeon games. I absolutely adore this Pokemon. It is fantastic. The Mega is just a big guy, which I kind of appreciate. And also, thing hits like a truck. Very good in the games. It's only got one weakness, which you can avoid very easily with any sort of Ice-type move, or just get a dude that can use Ice-type moves. Or, anybody, get a Fire-type or whatever, beating up the Grass types. And it's such a cool Pokemon. So that's my favorite Water type. It is also part Ground, meaning that another Ground type that I could choose, I wanted to go with Wishcash here. Wishcash, Mystery Dungeon influence there. I have a podcast called Not a Scratch. It's a Pokemon Mystery Dungeon TTRPG actual play podcast. Long story short, take Dungeons and Dragons, take out all of that stuff and stuff it with Pokemon. This has been running we finished season 7, I believe, of the show, which is wild that we, have 7 seasons worth of stuff to do. And Wishcash plays a role in that. I really like what they do in the show. It kind of is based off of the actual game character, a little bit of a spin on there. So I absolutely love Wishcash as a result. It's a very cool Pokemon, plus it also eats Master Balls for a living, and that's kind of, nice. Because it's there for the ground type, I'm going to put Flygon in as my favorite Dragon type. I am crossing my fingers. I am hoping, like so many out there, that we are going to see... I don't want it revealed. They have revealed Megas in the past. I don't want it revealed. I just want it to be a secret until the game comes out that Flygon has a Mega Evolution. I want it to be something that takes a little bit of time, hide it behind the 4th or 5th gym or whatever the equivalent is, and just nobody knows about it until you walk in and boom, Flygon Mega Evolution. Everybody goes wild. That is my hope. I do not know if that's going to happen, but I would love it to happen. So Flygon is there, and because it's there, I put Rayquaza as my favorite flying type. The first legendary to be put on this list. It is possibly my favorite legendary of all time. If not, it's certainly up there. Green Snake. Green Flying Snake. The big, not necessarily antagonist, but the final boss in the first generation of games. And Rayquaza is cool. It's fun. Hoenn has some fantastic legendaries. Rayquaza, no exception. Because you are there, now we're going to go to the normal type, where my favorite Pokemon is Swellow. Now, shout out to the Loudred line, the Whismur line, technically, because I was thinking of putting Exploud there, because I like Exploud a lot, but I'm going to go Swellow. Shout out to Swellow. Always the bird that I end up choosing. It's always on the team, and this thing can, if designed correctly, can hit like a truck, like I've mentioned before. I like my teams to be fast and hit like a truck, and Swellow can kind of do both of those things, which is very exciting. Now I got to fill in the rest of the gaps here. Some of these are going to be easier than others. For example, my favorite fire type, Blaziken. My favorite grass type, I'm pretty sure is Sceptile. This generation, to me specifically, is the best generation of starters. I think all 3 of these are slam dunks, no doubt about it, no questions asked. And then on top of that, they all have megas that are also fantastic. There are fantastic. It is hard for me to dislike Pokemon in general. The vast majority of Pokemon, I am at least in the like category with them. There's a few that I dislike mainly because they've done bad things to me as a kid. I'm staring at you, Perugly. But for the most part, I have found some reason to like all of these Pokemon. Every single one, regardless of what they are. Then there are some that I absolutely adore, and all these starters fit in there. So shout out to all the starters in this generation. Sceptile is fantastic. Grovyle, of course, plays a big role in the 2nd generation of Mystery Dungeon games. I'm typically always in the 2nd generation. I was a Mudkip, partner was a Trico. I scammed the test. I did not naturally answer the questions when I was a kid, so who knows what my natural starters were supposed to be, but that combination, love that combination. And don't think Torchic is the odd man out, because Blaziken is really good as well. Now I gotta fill in the rest of the gaps here, and I know one Pokemon that's going to be on this list. I just don't know where they're going on the list. I'm gonna put Metagross as my favorite Steel type. It's a pseudo. It's a great pseudo. I think it's my favorite pseudo, probably. And it's just so cool. Steven is my favorite champion, and so Steven has a Metagross. Therefore, Metagross is my favorite champion Pokemon. It's like it's just yeah, it's Metagross. You guys like Metagross probably, hopefully. I don't know. As a result of that, I think just to be safe, I'm gonna look through this, but I feel like I'm pretty solid about what my options are here. Um, you know what I might do? I might change it up. I might go Metagross as the Psychic. Let's go Metagross as the Psychic. Same reason, Metagross. Wow, look at that. I'm gonna go Aggron as the Steel type, because this to me is a cool looking Pokemon. That's basically it. Aggron also really cool defensively. It's got a cool Mega Evolution as well, where it loses a type, but actually makes it, I think, better. But it also just Aggron is a wicked looking Pokemon. Putting Metagross in the Psychic type means my favorite Fairy type is Gardevoir. Gardevoir's great. Mystery Dungeon aspect to it. Fan favorite for a variety of reasons, some of which I will not discuss. But also, Gardevoir is just very cool. It's hard to get a Gardevoir because Ralts and Kirlia stats-wise are not good. But also, Ralts and Kirlia lead to Gardevoir or Gallade, both of which are really awesome. And of course, Gardevoir, not only Mystery Dungeon aspect, but Ralts has a big My Podcast role there. It's one of the fan favorite characters. And so as a result, Gardevoir's got to be in this list. Oh, favorite dark type? Yes, absolutely going to be Absol. One of my favorite Pokemon when I was a kid. I thought this thing was a legendary, and while it's not, it might as well be in my book because it is just that cool. It is very cool, very exciting. Because the thing tells you that disasters are coming. It's an omen of disasters, except not really. So I mean, that's good enough reason, right? Favorite electric type Pokemon is Manectric. I like this doggo because this doggo bark. Bark. There's your explanation there. For Ice type, I'm going to go Spheal specifically. Nothing gets a Walrein line, but the dude is a round ball of joy, and Spheal also, part of the podcast. Spheal also, look at the dude. Look at the dude. W dude. Okay. Let's see if we move on to something else. Breloom for the fighting types. Typically on my team, there will always be a Mudkip. There will always be a Shroomish. Breloom is the end goal. Great Pokemon. It's just, I don't know. Breloom is cool. Grass fighting type, which is an interesting combination. Can hit a lot of things. Definitely does not want to be next to a bird. But, we got plans for that. Favorite poison type, I'm going to go with Roselia. This is not necessarily... Roselia, absolutely. Roselia was a big part of my first ever playthrough of Pokemon Diamond. But this plays a role later on, which we'll talk about once we get there. But for now, Roselia. Let's go with Armaldo as our rock type. I like that. Armaldo, Mystery Dungeon aspect to it. It's a really cool fossil. This might be one of the most fossil-y fossils, if that makes any sense. Just because it looks like a prehistoric creature, and I really like that. Some of the other ones don't have that ancient look necessarily to them. Maybe it's because they're unrealistic. This one looks realistic in a way. And then for bug type, because I've used Armaldo, I think I'm going to go with... I'm pretty sure this is different. You know what? We'll go Shedinja. Gimmick-wise, it's very cool. Shout out to Beautifly, who I think I would have chosen. But very... Shedinja's gimmick is just fantastic. It's so interesting and so different from everything else. For the ghost type, let's go with Sableye. At this point in time, Sableye has no weaknesses. It's such an interesting... that would have been the gimmick, and then also Mystery Dungeon. It is the henchman. So that's absolutely a fun aspect there as well. That is our list there. I didn't read through the Johto one. I apologize for that. But I will read through that in a moment. The starter option, my favorite is Swampert. The gimmick form, all very cool. I think... I don't even know which one I'll choose. Let's go with Mega Rayquaza. Why not? My favorite legend is Rayquaza. Favorite Pokemon here, though, is Swampert. That is what I'm going to go with here. So, for those of you, apologies for this, for Johto, the Johto final list, normal type Smeargle, fire type Houndoom, water type Quagsire, grass type Meganium, electric type Ampharos, ice type Swinub, fighting type Heracross, poison type Quillfish, ground type Phanpy, Flying type Crobat, Psychic type Espeon, Bug type Scizor, Rock type Sudowoodo, Ghost type Mischievous, Dragon type Kingdra, Dark type Umbreon, Steel type Skarmory, Fairy type Togepi, Starter is Feraligatr, Gimmick is Mega Ampharos, Legend is Celebi, favorite all-time for Johto is Skarmory. For the third generation, favorite normal type is Swellow, Fire is Blaziken, Water is Swampert, Grass is Sceptile, Electric is Manectric, Ice is Feel, Fighting is Breloom, Poison is Roselia, Ground is Wishcash, Flying is Rayquaza, Psychic is Metagross, Bug is Shedinja, Rock is Armaldo, Ghost is Sableye, Dragon is Flygon, Dark is Absol, Steel is Aggron, Fairy is Gardevoir, favorite starter is Swampert, Gimmick is Mega Rayquaza, favorite legend is Rayquaza, and favorite Pokemon of the generation is Swampert. Now it's time to go to Generation 4. So Generation 4 is the first generation that I got to play. This was my first game, was Diamond, and everything kind of exploded from there. So this is going to be a fun generation to look at. Who are some of the obvious ones that I might pop in here? I got to take a look real quick, and then we'll see what we go from there. Favorite fire type, I think I'm going to go Infernape. It's very cool. There aren't a lot of options in this generation, but the ones that are here are pretty cool, Infernape being one of them. Favorite ice type, I think I'm going to go Glaceon. It might be one of my, at one point in time, this was my favorite evolution on one day of the week. I think you might as well just pick, a different one for each day of the week. Glaceon, it's so cool. And I think it's really good in Conquest. I haven't used it yet in Conquest, but I think it's really good in Conquest. So that might be my option there. I'm pretty sure there are a few steel options that I could look into. Yes, certainly. So for fighting, I think I'm going to go Lucario here. I am a fan of Lucario. The Egyptian background and everything like that. It is a very cool Pokemon. It's got a baby evolution that I really like, so it just meets all the details there. Plus, there's a little bit of Mystery Dungeon-ness to Lucario. For ground type, I think I'm going to go Mamoswine here. Again, I really, really love this line, and the fact that it got an extra evolution in this game is that much cooler. It's a woolly mammoth. That is not quite an elephant, but it's elephant adjacent, and that is good enough for me. For psychic types, give me Gallade. I love this line. Gardevoir is great. Gallade is just as awesome because it's got that real honorable swordsman vibe to it, and I really enjoy that. For bug type, give me Yanmega. I love this Pokemon. I know Jesse had one in the anime, but it is such a cool... Generation 4 and 5 in particular, I think had some fantastic bug type Pokemon options, Yanmega being one of them right here. For ghost type, it's got a couple options that are interesting to me. Let's go Dusknoir though, the big bad, adjacent of Generation 2's Mystery Dungeon games. It is such a cool Pokemon. That's just basically it. It's just cool. For fairy type here, let's go Togekiss. I again love that Togepi line, and then Togekiss is such a good Pokemon, especially in the earlier generations where you basically used it to scam people out of crits, I think is the best way to describe it. I'm going to go here and put Drapion on the list for poison types. I think it is possibly one of the most cool Pokemon no one talks about if you want to put that on the list. And putting Drapion on the list there means Roserade is going to be my grass type Pokemon option here. I adore Roserade. I didn't realize this last year, but this is staying the same, I'm pretty sure. That Roserade not only might be one of my favorite grass types of all time, it might be one of my favorite Pokemon in Generation 4 in general. I don't know why I enjoy it so much. It's something that didn't appeal to me occur to me until after the fact. But Roserade is just very, very cool. For water types, I'm going to go with the starter option here with Empoleon. I really like Torterra as well. No argument there. Empoleon, my first starter was Piplup. I like penguins. This is Big Penguin. We all gotta love that. Let's go with let's go Chatot in the normal types and Staraptor in the flying types. Staraptor, from a gameplay standpoint, it's a cool bird. It might be my favorite of the birds. I don't know. It's got the cool sort of vibe to it. And then Chatot, the Mystery Dungeon. Hello, Chatot ran Generation 2 with their get to work sort of feeling. and so definitely going to put chat out there. For electric, this is going to be hard. I'm going to go Luxray, I think. Shout out to Magnezone, because I think that's also a cool Pokemon, but Luxray, again, this generation has a lot of cool Pokemon, and then Luxray is absolutely one of those. For the rock type, let's go between the two fossils. I like Rampardos more, so let's go Rampardos here. Again, this thing is literally a glass cannon. If I go first, you will get run over. For dragon types, shout out to Primal Dialga. That might honestly be my option here, but I'm going to stick to main series Pokemon. And with that, let's go Garchomp. I mean, come on. Pseudo, Dragon Ground. You can get one relatively early, especially in the Platinum games, and then that just fantastic there. For dark types, let's go with Spiritomb. I think let's go Spiritomb here. I think cool Pokemon that has a unique twist to it. I don't actually think Spiritomb... Yeah, no, I don't know why I was thinking that. Spiritomb is not a legendary Pokemon, but for the longest time I thought it was because it was such a convoluted way to actually get Spiritomb. So Spiritomb is going to be my option there. And you know what, Magnezone? We'll put you back on the list here. We'll go put you in as a steel type option here. Magnezone is another great evolution on top of previously existing ones. Gen 4 was the master of that, and that continued here. Starters, I'm going to go Empoleon. For the gimmick, let's go Gallade. I like the majestic sort of like honorable swordsman feeling there. For legendary, I think my favorite is Dialga, probably. Shout out to Manaphy. Just gotta say that there. And then my favorite Pokemon of this generation is Roserade. I did not realize it until after the fact, but that is absolutely it. So for Generation 4, let's go down the list here. My favorite normal type is Chatot, Fire is Infernape, Water is Empoleon, Grass is Roserade, Electric is Luxray, Ice is Glaceon, Fighting is Lucario, Poison is Drapion, Ground is Mamoswine, Flying is Staraptor, Psychic is Gallade, Bug is Yanmega, Rock is Rampardos, Ghost is Dusknoir. I don't know why I was going to say something. I was going to say Dragapult for some reason. Dragon is Garchomp, Dark is Spiritomb, Steel, Magnezone, Fairy, Togekiss, Starter, Empoleon, Gimmick, Mega Gallade, Legend, Dialga, and favorite of the generation, Roserade. And now we go to Generation 5. Now here's the thing with Generation 5. Of all the generations, this is the one that I have played and interacted with the least. In fact, I have not yet finished a Generation 5 game as of this point. Every other game I have at least finished a playthrough, with the exception of Gen 6, I guess, technically, but I'm going through that right now. So Generation 5's a bit on the back burner. So a lot of these are more just vibe picks. And the fun part about these as well is that we'll get the random like machines and whatnot. For favorite normal type, for Mystery Dungeon purposes, specifically the podcast version, let's go Audino here. One of my player characters plays an Audino, and they are a bundle of joy and chaos at the same time. Shout out to them. For fire types here, I love Victini. Victini is fantastic. It's great. The V-Wheel might be the greatest invention of all time. And it's just literal chaos. That might be the theme of Gen 5. For water types, let's go with Samurott, I think, because unless I can think of another rock type here. Oh, I can think of a rock type. Strike that. Let's go. Shout out to Samurott. In fact, I'll just tell you guys now. The starter. Actually, no. I switch back and forth. This is actually the generation where I go grass. Samurott's very cool. Caracosta, though. Awesome fossil. I use it in the Mystery Dungeon podcast. It's a fun character because I speak very fast, as you probably know from watching all the things that I do. But Caracosta is a Pokemon where I explicitly go very slow in my understanding. And this is just such a twist for anyone that knows me that I find that very fun. For grass type, let's go Superior, I think. It is the starter choice that I choose. So in fact, let me fill in that bubble there. The first time that I deviate from the water type is for Superior. I think it's very cool. It's a regal snake, and I find that very enjoyable. For electric, let's go Zipstrika. I think it's Zebra. I really want to, when I go through my Gen 5 game, I think Zipstrika is going to be one of the Pokemon that I use going forward throughout that run through. Because it's a Zebra, which I think is a cool Pokemon, and it's electric type. Electric Zebra is exciting. For the ice type, I think I might go with uh Vanillix? Vanillite? The ice cream cones. I like the ice cream cones. Also, podcast connection there, where I think for the longest time we were switching between various different forms um, of this as the one character because we couldn't keep track of it. For the fighting type, I think I'll go Conkeldurr. Sure. It's grown on me as time has gone on. I think that's the best way to describe it there. For the poison type, let's go Venipede. I think this is not Venipede. What am I talking about? Scolipede. I'm losing track of the Pokemon. Gen 5 is a weak point because everything is all there and I got no idea. Yeah, Scolipede. There we go. There's so many Pokemon that I can't remember them. But Scolipede, I think, is probably, again, another generation where bug types are really, really good. We'll get to that later on. And Scolipede is just a good example of that. For ground types here, let's go Crocodile. I think it's Crocodile, dark type, ground type combination there. It's, again, a cooler Pokemon that I think is very cool. Ground types are always some of my favorites in each generation. And so this is no exception. For flying type, I'm going to go Swanna here. I think Swanna might be a really cool, underrated bird that's used in the Mystery Dungeon games. It is in Gates to Infinity, if I remember correctly. And it's probably one of the most calm characters there, which is saying something. For psychic types here, let's go Meloetta. Why not? Meloetta, fun legendary Pokemon that has a nice music gimmick that's always enjoyable. I think the movies do Meloetta really well as well. Now here we go into the bug types. I mean, look at these. We got Scolipede, we got Crustle, Scavalier, the Joltik line, for example, Durant. My favorite though, Volcarona. I mean, this is making bugs relevant in a high degree. Quiver Dance, as an example, is a move that it used to run rampant on the NPCs of my day. Rock type, I'm going to go with the Roggenrola line. Gigalith. I don't know why I forgot Gigalith's name for a second. Gigalith is one of my favorite rock type Pokemons out there. It's got, again, such a cool vibe to it that is very, very fun to work with here. For Ghost type, I'm going to go Chandelure. Another Pokemon that a lot of people have been talking about needing a Mega Evolution. I'm going to call it out here. I think Chandelure should get one. I'm crossing my fingers that it does get one because it would be very exciting if it did. I think Mega Chandeliers is awesome. For Dragon type, let's go with the Life Man themselves, Hydreigon. I think very, very fun. In the Gates game, they might be one of the favorite characters out there. For Dark types, let's go Zoroark. I think definitely fits on that list. It's a fan favorite. I like it. Illusion is such an interesting ability. And for Steel types, let's go with Bisharp, I think. Let's go Bisharp. The King Gambit was a great addition to this line. Bisharp itself, such a cool looking Pokemon. And the chess motif behind it is one that I really, really like. Fairy types, let's go Whimsicott. That's the only option there. Also a fun little puffball. For Gimmick, let's go Mega Audino. I think I like Mega Audino's lab coat sort of vibe there. Favorite Legendary, I think, is Victini, probably. Favorite Pokemon of all of these, I think, also might be Victini, I think. Yeah, let's go Victini. Victini's run the board at the end there. So, to wrap up, for Generation 5, favorite normal type is Audino, fire is Victini, water is Caracosta. The name for that character is Carlos Costa, and so I keep thinking that even though it's not. Grass is Serperior, electric is Zipstrika, ice is Vanillux, I think that's the big one. Fighting is Conkeldurr, poison is Scolipede, ground is Crocodile, flying is Swanna, psychic is Meloetta, bug is Volcarona, rock, Gigalith. For ghost, it's Chandelure. Dragon is Hydreigon, dark is Zoroark, steel is Bisharp, fairy is Whimsicott, favorite starter is Serperior, gimmick is Mega Audino, legend and favorite Pokemon is Victini. And now we go to a generation that I'm learning about right now, Generation 6. So prior to the playthrough of Gen 6 that's happening on the main channel right now, Gen 6 would have been the region that I knew the least about because at least I've started a black and white game. I had not started, touched anything about X and Y. Now that we have, though, and with Legends Arceus, just a few mere months, a couple months away, a month and a half, a few mere weeks away, give or take, we can talk about this generation with some very, very awesome Pokemon. So let's talk about it. I'm not going to add megas as options here, so we're just going to stick with the ones that are here. So some of these members you're going to recognize. Heliolisk on the team right now, very, very good. Normal type here, we're going to go, I think, unless there's another option there. Let's do this for variety's sake. We'll go Diggersby for the ground type. Bumblebee's awesome. It's great in the anime. It's great here. For normal types, let's go. I do want to stick with the theme here. So let's go with Pyroar as our normal type. For our fires, let's see if there's any flying options that are better here. Because Talonflame is definitely getting on this list. Just a matter of where. For bug types, I'm very surprised there are not many bug type options here. But let's go with our Pavilion here, which for some reason is not in the right zone. But we'll throw you in there for bug. For flying, okay, let's go Greninja for the water, which will make Pangoro our dark, which will make Halucha our fighting, which will make, let's see, do we have another dragon option? We do. Okay, good. That'll make Gudra our dragon. That'll make our rock Tyrantrum, or Tyrant, whichever one you want to go with. Gudra is our dragon, which means our flying can be Noivern, and our fire type is Talonflame. There we go. That's a whole bunch of things filled in. Yes, that is the setup here. We have not gone over anybody else yet. We'll have Gogoat as our grass type on the team right now. Very, very fun. For our ice type, let's go with Avalugg. Used it in Legends Arceus, and it was amazing. When dealt with properly, which I never did, but shout out to them. Let's go Dragalge, because that's the only poison option that I'm willing to choose here. For psychic types, let's go with Hoopa. I like young Hoopa here. They are an absolutely fun character. I like their little wormhole thing, even if they were a bit annoying in the movies. Steel type, or not steel type, this is ghost type. What are our steel options here? Our fairy. Okay, cool. For the ghost type, we will go with Aegislash. We'll do the attack form here. For steel type, we're gonna go with Klefki, and our fairy type, we're gonna go with Florges. I'm gonna try to pick the right one. We are Yellow Flower, I believe. So let's go Florges Fairy there. And that is the team. The starter I choose was Greninja. My favorite gimmick. Oh boy, there's a lot of them here. I am going to go with. Ooh boy, there's a lot here. Try to choose one we haven't chosen before. Let's go with. Let's go with Garchomp. Why not? Garchomp with the swords for hands and everything. Favorite legend, I think, is gonna be Hoopa in this generation. And then favorite Pokemon in this generation, I think it might be Talonflame, to be honest. We'll go Talonflame. Why not? That might have changed. So I just went through that, kind of going through it without really explaining much of it. But for the vast majority of these, they're either Pokemon I'm using in my Legends X playthrough, or Legends X, Pokemon X playthrough, or they're Pokemon that have some meaning to another playthrough that I've done. So Talonflame, Greninja. We'll go in order. So normal, Pyroar, that's kind of just there. Fire, Talonflame is on the team right now. My favorite Pokemon of the generation, it feels like. Water type, Greninja, that's my starter. That's one of my favorite starters. It's cool, it's a ninja, the whole 9 yards. Grass type is Gogoat, because it's the goat. Electric is Heliolisk on the team right now. Ice is Avalugg, used it in Legends Arceus. Very, very cool. Fighting is Halucha. It's a masked wrestler. It's a luchador. Gotta love it there. Uh, Poison is Dragalge. There's not really many options there. Ground is Diggersby on the team right now. Flying is Noivern. I like this line. It's the Batman vibe, baby Noibat and everything. Psychic is Hoopa, possibly my favorite legendary in this generation. Certainly the one I ended up choosing there, and it's got a role not just in movies and all of that, but also in my podcast. The bug type is Vivillon. Probably was not the case last time, but this thing has been putting in work in the Pokemon X playthrough, so I'm keeping it on there. Rock type is Tyrantrum. This is the fossil that I ended up choosing. It's on the team right now. It's going all the way. Very excited about that. Ghost is Aegislash. I wanted to use this going in. I got one. I'm set. Dragon type is Goodra. Use the Hisuian form in Legends Arceus. It's been very good. Dark type is Pangoro. It's one of the bears. It's a panda bear. It's, it is on the team right now as well. My team is more than 6 Pokemon. I just switch between them. Steel type is Klefki. I got a soft spot for the keys. Fairy type is Florges. It's another Pokemon that I wanted to use going into the generation, and I have the ability to do so, which is very exciting. My starter choice is Greninja. We're back on the water train here. The gimmick, it's kind of hard to choose, but I just went with Mega Garchomp there. Legend is Hoopa, favorite of the generation. I think Greninja might have been the one I chose last time, but I'm going to go Talonflame here because it is, the more I use it, the cooler it gets. So Talonflame we go with, and now we go to Generation 7. Alright, so many of you may have had a period where you stepped away from Pokemon and came back. For me, that was Generation 5 and 6 that I stepped out on, and I came back at the end of Gen 7 with Ultra Moon. So as a result of that, this generation kind of brought me back into the Pokemon franchise. I gotta give it love for that. So now, we choose our Pokemon from here. There are some interesting options here. I'm trying to see if I can find the cool ones. Shout out to Ash Greninja. First things first, we gotta go with we'll go Rowlet specifically, but the Rowlet line was the starter I chose. I love owls. Owls are cool. This guy's got a bow tie on. I mean, come on. It's the dude. This is the guy I use in my in my Ultra Moon playthrough. That was the starter I had. In Legends Arceus, it was the starter I chose. It's very, very fun. Speaking of, Vikavolt is going to be the electric type probably, because let's check the bugs out. Yes, I think it'll be the electric type there. Yeah, we'll do that, why not? So we'll go Vikavolt as the electric. I'm going to jump through a few of these here. Vikavolt is the electric. Ribombee as the bug. I'm going to go Mimikyu as the fairy. I'm going to go Lunala as the ghost. Yeah, let's do that. Let's go like that. So, Vikavolt, great Pokemon. I'm pretty sure I used this on my Ultra Moon team, and it puts in some work. I had Ultra Moon, so Lunala was my legendary choice, and it is a fun option there. Mimikyu's gimmick is fantastic. It's a fan favorite, and I really wanted to use Ribombee throughout the entire run through. I ended up benching it at a certain point, but because I didn't use it the right way. So Ribombee, though, definitely, I think it's another great bug-type Pokemon. As a result of that, though, we gotta reestablish some things here. For ice types, I am going to, for ice types, let's go with Crabominable. I know a lot of people don't like this. I love this guy. It's great. He's just a goofball. But on my team, I used it. I had really good success with it, but it was one of those glass cannons of it either knocks you out or it gets knocked out. But it played pretty well. Beware. Shout out to the random shiny Stuffle I found in the Sword playthrough that I've done. I've done one playthrough of Sword, and it wasn't a natural playthrough, so I will be doing that at some point. But that playthrough was a Soul Link with a friend of mine, Lumishen on YouTube, Muhammad, and while going for training, randomly found a shiny Stuffle, which is wild. I think that clip might be a short on the main channel, so you could check that out. So as a result, love that. You know what? We'll go here specifically. Let's see, what else can we obviously... Absolutely, Mudsdale. Mudsdale might be one of my favorite Pokemon in Pokemon in general. Love this guy. It's great. Did work in the games, and then I just really like it. For birds, let's go to Cannon. I think I like that pretty well here. And that would make you... We'll go... Yeah, we'll go Toucanon there as my bird and Komala as my normal type. Komala is just fun. I like its gimmick. It's the fact that it's asleep but not asleep, but it is asleep. Toucanon's here because it is another bird that put in work. Best way to describe it. For the psychic types, let's see here. Let's go Alolan Raichu. I think this represents all of the Alolan Pokemon as a whole that were really, really fun this game. Lycanroc, I had Dusk form. A lot of doggos on this favorite squad. Lycanroc adds to that list there. For Dragon type, let's go Drampa. I think the more I learn about Drampa, the funner it gets. For Dark types, let's go Incineroar for Dark types, because I think I'll probably have a different fairy option. Maybe? Oh, yeah, Alolan Marowak, yes. Yeah. Alolan Marowak is such a cool Pokemon, and Incineroar is Incineroar. Everybody knows about Incineroar. For Steel types, let's go Togedemaru. Why not? That's a fun one. And for, what am I missing here? We got Water we're missing. Let's put in Primarina. I think that line is really, really fun. So all of the lines are represented at some point. That's fun. And for Poison types, I don't really have much here. Let's go Salazzle. Why not? Sure, that's a fun one. Favorite starter is the Decidueye line, so we'll go with that. Favorite gimmick here, we can go... Favorite gimmick, let's go Ash Greninja. Why not? We'll throw that out there. Legendary in these games, I'm going to go with Lunala. And favorite Pokemon this generation, I am going to go with Decidueye representing the Rowlet Boy. Shout out to Mudsdale, though. I'm debating whether or not I should change this. You know what? I'm going to change it. Let's go Mudsdale. Shout out. That's how we'll roll it here. So, we're going to end off Generation 7. Normal type is Komala, Fire type is Alolan Marowak, Water is Primarina, Grass is Rowlet, Electric is Vikavolt, Ice is Crabominable, Fighting is Stuffle, Poison is Salazzle, Ground is Mudsdale, Flying is Toucanon, Psychic Alolan Raichu. For Bug, we're going to go Ribombee, Rock is Lycanroc, Ghost is Lunala, Dragon is Drampa, Dark is Incineroar, Steel is Togedemaru, Fairy, Mimikyu. The favorite starter is Decidueye's line. The gimmick form, I'm going to say Ash Greninja. Legend is Lunala, and favorite Pokemon is Mudsdale. Why not? Now we go to Gen 8. So I played through Generation 8 exactly once, and most of that, if not all of that, is available on the main channel. As a result of that, though, I am going to kind of just go off of vibes here because I don't have a lot of knowledge about this game in comparison to the others. So I'm just going to go with whatever pops into my head. I'm not going to go gimmicks here unless, it's the gimmick section. So let's go. I'm just going to go in order and then we'll figure it out from there. We'll just go. This one I don't have a lot of explanation for, so we'll just go off of whatever you first think of. Let's go with Obstagoon. Let's go Centiskorch here. Inteleon for the water. We'll go Flapple. Morpeko. Actually, now that I think about it, since Legend Arceus plays a lot of role in this, and this is the generation, let's see if any of those change things. I don't believe they will. I don't want to go double Decidueye, but so we'll go Flapple. I did use Flapple in. I think I used Flapple in Gen 8. So we will stick with what we got here. Yeah, that's fine. We'll go Hisuian Avalugg. Use that in Legend CA. For fighting, we'll go Surfetched. I think that's this is a Mystery Dungeon podcast thing. For poison, we'll go Overqwell. For ground type, we can go Ursaluna. For flying, we're absolutely going with Corviknight. For psychic, let's go with Hisuian Braviary for that. For bug, I'm gonna go Centiskorch. I think that's for the rock type. Let's go Colossal. Yeah, let's go Colossal. For ghost, let's go Hisuian Zoroark, maybe. Sure. I didn't really use you too much. I didn't use you at all, actually. Now that I think about it. But yeah, because I think my dragon is likely going to be. Oh no, but we'll do elephants. That's Caparaja, right? So you're gonna go here, which would make my dragon Isuin Gudra, which would make. We'll go Dragapult here. I like you. Um, this is actually from a TCG perspective. Dragapult, one of the best decks in the game right now. For Dark, let's go Grimmsnarl. There we go. And then for Fairy type, we will go Hatcham for that. And then now we go into starters. For the starter option here, I would go with Inteleon. For Gimmick, there's a lot of them here. I'll go with Suin Gudra. Why not? For Legend, let's go Eternatus. My favorite in this generation is probably Corviknight. There we go. So that is Generation 8. There's not a lot of explanation for this, unfortunately. This is one generation that I don't have a lot of explanation for. But for the typings, we have Normal is Obstagoon, Fire is Scorch, Water is Inteleon, Grass is Flapple, Electric is Morpeko, Ice is Hisuian Avalugg, Fighting is... let me make sure I'm reading the right ones here. Fighting is Surfetch, Poison is Overquill, Ground is Ursaluna, Flying is Corviknight, Psychic is Hisuian Braviary, Bug is Scorch, Rock is Colossal, Ghost is Dragapult, Dragon is Hisuian Gudra, Dark is Grimmsnarl, Steel is Caparaja, Fairy is Hatcham, Starter is Inteleon, Gimmick is Hisuian Gudra, Legend is Eternatus, and my favorite Pokemon is Corviknight. One last generation left, Generation 9. Alright, and now we go to Generation 9. The most recent generation, the generation that I think, technically speaking, this is probably true, I've put the most time and energy into, which is very exciting, because it means, for once, I may know the Pokemon here. It's been a long stretch of me being questionable about Pokemon, but let's zoom through, see what options we've got here, and then end up making a choice. So one thing I have to decide about right now is what Ogerpon's going to do. I think for safety purposes, Ogerpon is just going to fit in the grass section here, just because that's what base form Ogerpon is. You're going on this. I adore Ogerpon. It is fantastic. Its concept is cool. I'm a big fan of the whole multi-type sort of thing. In fact, I'm just going to make this easier on me and immediately put you with this little legendary. There are some really cool legendaries in this game. I mean, Miraidon, Koraidon for starters. I was a Violet player, so Miraidon was the one that I used, but there's some cool options there. The Ruin legendary Pokemon are also really interesting. The Loyal 3. The cool thing about the legendaries in this game, I think, is the fact that each one of them fits into a story. It's not like they're just thrown out there into the wild. Like, some legendary Pokemon don't really have a story behind them. They're just legends or mythicals for legend's sake. But every single Pokemon in here either fits into someone else's story or is the central part of their own story, which is so cool to me. I hope they continue that. And part of that might just be the fact that they had DLC. So they made it so that the original core legendaries are there, and then the DLC, each one could focus on a legendary, or the epilogue focuses on Petron, for example. But I don't know. That's something I found really cool. Ogerpon, uh, just a guy, technically a girl, I think, right? I believe Ogerpon is a female. But yeah, just a girl, man, just vibing. It's so cool. Oh, we have to go. All right, so next one here, Bellabolt. This is one of my favorite Pokemon, period. In fact, I think it's safe to say I'm going to do this now itself, even though we're going out of order here, but I think Bellabolt might be the favorite in this region. Again, it's just a guy. A lot of these Pokemon that I think end up being my favorites are just guys. Like, Wigglytuff's just a guy. You know, Bellabolt, just a guy. Mudsdale's just a guy. They're just there, and they're vibing. It's so cool. It's so fun. Moveset, natural moveset, not really great, but its ability is so unique. It reminds me of Stamina in a way with Mudsdale, with Mudsdale, and that is just, again, very, very cool to me. I like unique abilities. I like that the hook. What is the hook into this Pokemon? Bellabolt's got a hook for me, at least, and I found that really, really cool. For fire type, I think it's pretty safe to say I'm gonna go with the starter. So for the first time ever, I went with the fire starter. So all of these are the starters that I ended up going with on my first time playthroughs. And you can see the heavy water focus, the back and forth with the grass type, and for the first time ever, new generation, I start off with the fire starter. And I really like Skeledirge. It's a cool Pokemon. It's got everything I wanted in that it's got a signature move that boosts its own stats and does damage. You can't ask for much more than that. I think I'm gonna go Titan for ice types. Uh, I think it's a really cool Pokemon. The whole, is it a Narwhal-esque sort of thing with it? Titan has a podcast influence as well. I've got a Titan in the show. That's a fun character, very very neat and orderly, which I think goes against the whole concept of Titan, but I found that really funny. So that, a little bias there. Oh, absolutely, give me the Clodsire. Clodsire didn't stay on the team too long, but I thought it's so cool. It's a fun Pokemon. It's a fun twist on Wooper. Wooper, what if Wooper but brown? Ooh, interesting. This generation also was, I believe, the first generation where I didn't have a mainstay flying type on the team the entire time, and so as a result, this is all relatively new to me. I think of these, I'm probably gonna go with Bombardier. I think that's what it is. Just because it's got the Stork vibe to it, which is pretty cool. But I did not use any flying types in my Violet playthrough, so the intricacies of other Pokemon might still be unfamiliar to me. When it comes to Psychic types, let's go Farigiraf. I think that's pretty cool. A twist and evolution on a Pokemon that is, again, somewhat forgotten about. Girafarig is not really well known prior to Farigiraf. It was just kind of one of those Johtomons, and now it's there with an evolution. So I thought that was really cool. Giraffes are very cool. I think in a future playthrough, I'd like to use Farigiraf at some point. My goal at some point is to have used every single Pokemon. And so getting Farigiraf would be, having the opportunity to use Farigiraf would be very exciting. Oh, for Rock type, we have to go with Garganacl. Garganacl? Garganacl, I think is what it's supposed to be. But man, this was a cool Rock type Pokemon, unique moveset. It was a fun design. Pure Rock type as well, if I'm not mistaken, which is generally not common, especially for my playthroughs. I generally end up with the Rock Ground type of the region. So this was a fun little twist that I found really, really cool. And Necklace just a guy. Again, look at that. Just a dude. Shout out to Cloth, though, just because, Cloth. So let's do this, because I think this is probably our best bet here. Let's go Cyclozar as our dragon. Cyclozar is such a cool Pokemon. It's fun that it has that convergent between either being Miraidon or Koraidon. The lore behind it is very interesting as well. And with Cyclozar there, let's go Dunsparce, I think, is fun. Didn't use it, but man, would it have been cool to use. Let's go with the big one, because why not? Dunsparce is, everything. Dunsparce, I think, is the evolution for Dunsparce that I think ABC123 is going to be for Flygon. It is a thing of, like, everybody's clamoring, hey, please give this Pokemon something. And then they give it, and then people are mildly amused by it. I think that's what I'm pretty sure. Dunsparce was debated. Was it debated? Was it hotly contested when it came out? I don't know. Maybe it was. Maybe it wasn't. I find it really cool. I think it's very fun. You have Dunsparce, Dunsparce, and then technically you have Dunsparce, which is very good. Imagine if that's what they called it. They just said, "All right, well, if you got an extra section, you're an extra dun." Speaking of saying done a lot, I am going to go shout out Palafin. Palafin is very, very cool, and I did not know how to get Palafin when I played through the game. I wanted to go in with as little knowledge as possible, meaning I didn't know about the Union Circle and all that until, if I'm not mistaken, I looked it up. So my water type was Finizen for a while, but didn't do anything about it. It stayed on the team, wasn't very good, and so I switched over to Dondozo. And Dondozo is not a Pokemon I typically use. I don't really use bulky Pokemon in my casual playthroughs, especially water types. My water types tend to be fast. I mean, look at the other water type options that I've used here. A lot of them are starters, of course, so they naturally have boosted stats. But I mean, they're either fast or they have, one weakness because of the part ground type. And Caracosta is the oddball here, I think, compared to everybody else. But Dondozo was different. Bulky, took a bunch of hits in our playthroughs, and really was an interesting Pokemon to use. So I really like Dondozo. For the fighting type, let's go Annihilate. I like that. An extra evolution on Primeape, an already good Pokemon. The fact that Annihilate was cool, I don't think I used it if I remember correctly. Um, I'm already forgetting that original team, which is kind of disappointing. But Annihilate, cool addition to the Primeape. The fact that I appreciate Primeape so much more after that first major playthrough makes Annihilate a Pokemon that I really want to use going forward. What was my final team? Let's see if I can remember what it is, because they should all be on here at some point. Let's see if I remember correctly. I know we had Skeledirge. I know we had Bellabolt. I know we had Garganacl. I know we had Cyclozar. That's 4. Who am I missing? There's someone we're missing. Darkshun. Man, I don't have pets. That's something I don't have. But if I were to get a pet, I'd want them to be as close to a Darkshun as possible. That would be so cool. Fun Pokemon to use. Fairy type on the team. First time I used a fairy type for like an extended time period, if I'm not mistaken. I don't. The Galar playthrough was such a weird playthrough because it was a Soul Link for my first one, so it's kind of. I don't even remember what I used for the majority of time. I just remember having an appreciation for Skuntank at the end of it. And then I mentioned previously Rabombi. I was a Pokemon I used, but I didn't keep for very long. So Dachshund was on the team basically from the start with Fido, and again, very very fun. It's cool Pokemon, cool concept, fairy type. That is 5. Who am I missing? I'm trying to see if I can remember this from scratch, but oh, duh. Yeah, I think I skipped Dondozo. So yeah, Skeledirge, Dondozo, Bellabolt. Those are 3, and then Garganacl, Cyclozar, Dachshund. I believe that was generally the team. Shocker, all of those are on my favorites. For the rest, though, we're kind of just going off of vibes and what they felt like going against them. So let's go Revavroom as our poison type, I think, because for Steel, we'll go. Let's see, can I do? Yeah, for let's go Revavroom for poison. We'll go Kingambit, who's a Pokemon I've used a lot after beating the game, just to complete other missions and stuff like that, because it's very very strong. Let's go U for Steel, and I think for Dark, we can go. Yeah, I think let's go Mabosstiff for our Dark type here. Didn't use a Mabosstiff, but man, the importance Mabosstiff plays in the story of Pokemon Scarlet and Violet just immediately makes it rise to the list. Also, it's a doggo. I really, somebody's bound to have done this already, but I'm pretty sure Generation 9 might be the easiest game to do an all-dog run, and Mabosstiff will certainly be one of those Pokemon. Only a couple left. For you, let's go Lokix, I think. Why not? Sure. I don't really have a thing with any of the bugs. And for Ghost, let's go Golden Go. I think that's probably safe here. Yeah. Shout out to Graveyard. That's a fun one as well. Another doggo. But Golden Go, nothing about Golden Go in the games. I know it's very good, but I didn't get one until after I beat the game. Golden Go solely because that is the TCG deck. The TCG deck that I play. I play a Golden Go deck, and it's very good. It's a fun deck. It's relatively easy. I'm new to the game, so it's an easier deck to understand, comprehend. Relatively straightforward to play, and it's a fun concept there. So shout out to Golden Go. As for Gimmick, aren't a lot here. It's a bunch of Divergence and other items like that. For these, let's go. Well, we have used Wooper. Let's go. Yeah, let's go with the Wooper. Why not? Whoop whoop. And so to finalize Generation 9. Normal type, we go with the Dunsparce. For fire type, we go Skeledirge. Water type, Dondozo. Grass type is Ogerpon. If you want to be particular, Ogerpon, no mask or regular mask, whatever. Electric is Bellabolt. Ice is the Titan. Fighting is Annihilate. Poison is Revavroom. Ground is Clodsire. Flying is Bombardier. Bombardier. I think that's the name. I'm trying to go off the top of my head, and unfortunately, I only have room for like 1,000 Pokemon. There's 25 that I don't remember. For Psychic, we'll go for Farigiraf. For Bug, we'll go Lokix. For rock, we'll go Garganacle, the salt dude. For ghost, we'll go Golden Go. For dragon, we will go Cyclozar. Dark will be Mabostiff. Steel is Kingambit. Fairy is Fido. Not Fido, sorry, Dachshund. The starter we chose was Skeledirge. The gimmick will go Whoop, Big Whoop, never the little one. Uh, for the legendary, we'll go Ogerpon, and our favorite Pokemon of the generation is Bellabolt. Now it's time to pick from the masses. Let's go through step by step. So, determining here, right now, my favorite normal type. Well, let's go through the ones that I think I can guess. My favorite grass type is Roserade. Easy, no questions about it. I don't know how, I don't know why, but I've always, when I go through Sinnoh, I always try to get a Roserade on the team. I think that's like especially a nostalgia hit in there. So definitely going to go with you. Favorite water type is going to be Swampert. A lot of water starters here, and Swampert is the king of them. Favorite electric type, it is Bellabolt. I think, had you asked me prior to Gen 9, I think Vikavolt might have been the option here, assuming the same list. But Bellabolt's going to take up the spot there. For ice types, let's go with Spheal. Let's go with the round boy. Yeah, just such a big player in the podcast. It's a round guy. It's just a good. It's it's a fun fella. Let's see. What else can I obviously get? I want to try to pick the ones that are like jump off the page obvious here. For ground type, it's going to be Mudsdale. That one's obvious for me. For bug types, honestly, I know this has changed. It's Pavilion. I think this butterfly has not only put in work in my X run through, but its concept is so cool. The fact that there are different patterns depending on where you are. And I don't know how it's risen up this much, because I thought I was just going to use it to start off my X playthrough and then bench it later. But my X team, I have 5 members that are confirmed, and I think the 6th one might just be Pavilion. That might be the team that I just roll with going forward into the Elite Four. I've been varying it up over the course of the run through, but for the Elite Four, I think Pavilion might be that final Pokemon. For Steel types, give me Skarmory. I think just from being a kid, and that's definitely on the list and rising up there. Fairy type is going to be Wigglytuff, obviously. My favorite starter is Swampert. The favorite of the gimmicks, this I switch around with all the time. Let's go with Gallade. Why not? I think Majestic Gallade is a good option there. Favorite legend, this is a hard choice. I'm going to go with, that's probably it. Alright, now let's run back through and see if the ones that we have to debate a little bit. I think I'm going to go Talonflame for my fire type here. Right? Do we want to go Talonflame there? We'll go Talonflame there. I think that's probably a good option. For fighting, let's go... Man, do I do it? I'm going to go Lucario. I was really debating going Primeape there, but I think I'm still going to go Lucario. For poison, I'm going to go Overqwil. Again, very, very cool Pokemon. Awesome addition. For flying type, I am going to go Staraptor. I think that is generally the bird for me. For Psychics, I'm going to go Metagross. That's the one that pops up instantly. When I look at it, I'm like, yes, that one. For rock types, I'm going to go Gigalith. I would not be surprised if Tyrantrum ends up being that choice, or Lycanroc is another close option, but I'm going to go Gigalith. For my Ghost, I'm going to go Dusknoir. Dusknoir, to be precise. Dragons, I think we will go with... I think Garchomp is probably the one that pops up to me. For Dark types here, I'm going to go Absol. Now all that's left is normal type. And this is a tough choice. Let's go with Eevee. Why not? So, favorite normal type is Eevee. Favorite fire type is Talonflame. Favorite water type is Swampert. Favorite grass type is Roserade. Favorite electric is Bellabolt. Favorite ice is Spheal. Favorite fighting is Lucario. Favorite poison is Overqwil. Favorite ground is Mudsdale. Favorite flying is Staraptor. Favorite psychic, Metagross. Favorite bug, Pavilion. Favorite rock, Gigalith. Favorite ghost, Dusknoir. Favorite dragon, Garchomp. Favorite dark, Absol. Favorite steel, Skarmory. Favorite fairy, Wigglytuff. Favorite starter is Swampert. Favorite gimmick, this is bound to if there's one thing I know that's going to change, is this whole gimmick section here. I went with Mega Gallade this time. Favorite legend is Victini. I think that probably has changed at some point as well. Um, you can compare last year's list and this year's list. Whatever's the same are the opinions that I have like solid opinions about. And my favorite Pokemon of all time is the Wigglygoat. Absolutely. We don't need to do all of those. Let's pick some of the birds here, and let's do some of the bonus options here. Your favorite regional bird, I think it's going to be Starly. Staraptor line as a whole. Favorite regional mammal, I guess it's that intro mammal dude. The one that pops up to me is Zigzagoon, so I'm with that. Linoon's a fun Pokemon. Linoon probably could have been an option for Gen 3 had I not done it the way that I did. Favorite regional bug, where is Spupa? This is not one that I would have chosen before, but this is one I'm choosing now. Man, is this thing turning into something really, really cool. Favorite pseudo-legendary, I don't know why they're megas here. Metagross, I think, is probably it. Favorite Pikachu clone, there are quite a few of them. Of these, it might be, it's probably Mimikyu, I think. I really like Pikachu. Actually, you know what? Ukulele Pichu is here. Give me Ukulele Pichu. If we want real Pokemon, then I guess it's Mimikyu, but, you know, this is the bonus section, so we'll go Ukulele Pichu. Favorite evolution? Man, I switch between this all the time. I didn't even have... Did I not put Sylveon? I put Florges there. I'm pretty sure I put Sylveon last time I did this. But they're all so fun. It's such a cool... I'm going to go Eevee just because it can turn into anything. But man, they are very, very cool. Of the fossils, which one is your favorite at this point? I might be going with Tyrant, turning into Tyrantrum. Just because A, it's been on a team that I've used relatively recently, and B, it is putting in work. Regional form, there are a bunch of them here. Quillfish is the first one that pops into my head, although, again, a lot of these are very, very cool, and then a lot of these I really want to use at some point. Just haven't had the opportunity to. I'm going to go... Yeah, let's go Quillfish. I probably could have gone with Hisui and Goodra as well, but I like that. Gigantamax, I did not do much with this at all, but I'll go Gengar. I like the... We chose that one last time, right? Yeah, we chose the Big Mouth Gengar. Favorite baby? Oh man, there are so many fantastic baby Pokemon. I adore this. I've mentioned it before. I will mention it again. You know what? We'll throw the Ukulele Pichu there. Why not? It's probably Igglybuff, Togepi, Badoo. One of those three, I think. But we'll throw Pichu there. We'll throw the Ukulele Pichu there, and we'll throw Mimikyu here. I think it's probably our best bet. Everyone knows about my baby Pokemon love at this point. Favorite box legendary, I think, might be Rayquaza. Wait, let's... Rayquaza, I believe, is how it was officially pronounced. They did a whole thing about that at Worlds. I'm assuming that's it. I hope that's it. Favorite mythical is Victini. I mean, we love the V-Wheel here. Favorite Ultra Beast. Ooh. I think I went with Poipole here? Probably? I'm assuming I went with Poipole here. I like Poipole. Paradox Pokemon. Ooh, do I go... Who do I... See, I was a Violet player. So all of mine are the Irons. But I really did like a lot of the Scarlet ones. And I think a lot of the Scarlet ones are more competitively viable in VGC and all that. But for the sake of this, I think I'm going to go Miraidon. I think that's probably my coolest. Favorite typing? Now, I flip around this all the time. It is generally one of three types. It is either water, fairy, or ground. For the sake of this, I am going to say the ground type is generally what I go with. I always want a ground type move. I'd like to have a ground type Pokemon. I just find it very fun. Water, if I was younger, I probably would have said water. Favorite Pokeball? I say the Quick Ball. Where is it? There you are. Just great. Favorite Spinda? Boom. There you go. That's my favorite Spinda. Favorite Pavilion? It's the one I'm using right now because it's fantastic. Pattern-wise? I'm a big fan of green, so honestly, the one that we have is pretty cool. Maybe this one here, the fourth one, is an interesting one as well, but I'm going to just choose mine because that's a fun one. Alcremie I've never used, but again, I'm going to choose the green one. Green is my favorite color. Let's go double green. Why not? Favorite new evolution? Oh boy, this is going to be tough. You know, for the sake of this, it's because I do want to shout them out. I'm gonna go Sylveon here. Why not? And that is the squad, the team, everything here. The final team. Final team, we can think about that. I know I asked you guys about that. It'd likely be from the list on the side here. Who would it be? I think for that final team, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I think that might be it. Yeah, let's go with that. That's probably what I'd go with. Yep, that seems pretty right there. So my team would be Wigglytuff, Skarmory, Swampert, Roserade, Mudsdale, Bellavolt. That feels like a solid top 6 for me. That feels like a good team. I have no idea if that team would be any good in competitive matchups or anything like that. I didn't want to choose Victini because it is a mythical. So I kind of kept that aside. Maybe Victini would have been on that list. I don't know who you would replace. I don't think you would have replaced anyone, despite my love for Victini. Yeah, so I think that would be it. That would be my team. Wigglytuff, Skarmory, Swampert, Roserade, Mudsdale, Bellavolt, in some order. And that is going to do it here. That is the entire list of Pokemon here. Maybe this will be the thumbnail, maybe not, who knows. But that is going to wrap it up here. Thank you everyone for listening. Thank you for watching. Thank you for supporting. Thank you for relaxing. Hope this was enjoyable. Leave your team, just your top 6, because that'll be probably easier for you to do than all of this. Leave that in the comment section below. I'd love to hear what your teams look like and see if there's any cool community sharings that we've got. And I will catch you in the next episode. Thank you everyone for listening, watching, and supporting in any way, shape, or form that you do. Until next time, take care.